Hey guys, what's up? It's Eric Mays. I'm here at the Travel and Adventure Show here in San Diego with Patricia Schultz, author of 1,000 Places to See Before You Die.
Yes.
And then the second version, which is focused on US and Canada only.
Yes.
I just wanted to ask a couple questions, take a few minutes with you. You got your start as a travel writer. How does somebody get started in that kind of a niche? And then once they have, a couple of trips, a couple publications under their belt, how do they go about gaining some credibility to take it to the next level?
You know that expression, don't quit your day job?
Yeah.
I held a lot of different jobs at the same time for years. And I think to expect some kind of overnight success or, major thing that's going to turn your life around, unless you're really lucky, that doesn't happen. So I just stuck to it because I loved it, whether it's travel, whether it's film, whether it's painting, whether it's baking cookies, whatever. If it's your passion and if you love it and you want to invest the time and the energy, you just keep at it. You keep at it. And if you enjoy doing it, so you don't make a lot of money, you're not overnight success, but you wind up spending a lot of years doing what you love, and ultimately, I think that success follows. But to imagine that it's going to happen in a year or two, I'll give myself 3 years. Well, I gave myself 3 decades.
There you go.
And it finally all came together. But
27 years, overnight success.
yes, I loved it. In the meantime, I had an incredible life and continue to have one. But it was a lot of effort and investment of time and energy. But I loved it. You have to love it. You have to love it.
Yeah, at some point it doesn't even become work, it just becomes...
No, it's an enjoyment and it's a lifestyle.
Pace.
Yeah, and because it's travel, it's not hard to love. Who doesn't love travel? So if it is travel that kind of gets you off the couch and really gets your energies going, then you invest that time, and I think that ultimately something will happen. You network, you meet people, you get the word out there. I never said no to anything. Whether they paid me with a cappuccino, with a bottle of Coca-Cola, like you were telling me.
Yeah, I had a mechanic. I was stuck in Loretto, and I got a couple $100 worth of service done for $5 2-liter.
It
So
worked.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's happy.
Yeah. Sometimes kindness just kind of rolls off the beaten path.
Yeah, and I think people pick up on your energy. If they see that you're doing something from the heart, then you're especially good at it because it comes from a very good place. And people will answer your phone calls, and they will give you work, and they will help you along. And I met incredible people all the way along that helped me get to where I am today, and it's a very nice place to be.
Yeah, definitely. It's not a one person. Even though it's your journey, it's not your own one journey. It's all the people you meet across along the way.
You couldn't be there without them.
Cool. Also, I wanted to ask kind of do's and don'ts. Europe is kind of like a bigger goal towards the end of the year for me. I wanted to ask you kind of pros and cons of like different times of the year to go, and then also kind of where kind of pricing goes in, because a lot of the people that follow me are kind of in the 20 to 40 demographic.
Well, even 40 to 80 or 80 to 100 years old, if you're looking
18 or 81.
yeah, I mean, and everybody in between, because everybody wants to save money, because the less money you spend, the longer you can stay or the more frequently you can travel. So there are very few people who just have open budgets. And I always spent time searching out discounted airfares, which most likely happen during off-season. And Europe in the off-season is very, very doable, and it's enjoyable because there are no lines in the museums. Then the hotels often discount their rooms. And the weather is not great, but so what? It never made much of a difference to me. And oftentimes in the summertime, July and August, when it's peak season, it's too hot anyway. So I really enjoyed, and it has become my preference to only travel off-season.
Nice.
It's not like it's Asia where off-season means it's monsoon season and you can't
You're
leave
not
your
gonna
hotel.
Get swept up in a typhoon.
No, the worst that can happen is it's a little cold and you're in Paris, and how nice is that?
Yeah.
So travel off-season, and then I think, thinking outside the box in terms of accommodations, staying in hostels. They have great hostels. Oh my God, some of the hostels in Europe are beautiful. Or looking into family-run B&Bs and inns, looking into Airbnb, just looking into alternative accommodations, which are very out there now on the internet. They're easily found and by the millions. So there are all kinds of alternative accommodations accommodations that can really slash your expenses. And eating, I mean, just don't eat out every day. I don't eat out every day at home. Why should I eat out every day when I'm there? And doing the markets and getting, walking into these incredible delicatessens and, for $5 or $10 getting the components for a meal that's made for a king. It's much more authentic and it's twice as delicious and it's half the cost. All kinds of way to cut costs.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I also loved the story. Who's the lady you met?
Edith from New Jersey.
Machu
Picchu. Yeah.
Could you kind of tell them in about a minute or two, like kind of about that
so
story?
I went to Machu Picchu because it's a big trip. It's a big trip.
Which is
it's
on my
expensive.
to-do list, too.
Yeah, it's iconic. It's up there with the Taj Mahal. And I had never been, so to celebrate when the book came out, I treated myself to Machu Picchu. And you fly into Lima and then connect to Cusco, 11,000 square miles. I had a bad case of altitude sickness, and I had an oxygen mask on my face in the hotel lobby, and a 90-year-old woman came and sat next to me. She was American, and we got to talking. It was her first passport, her first stamp, her first time out of
She'd
America.
never left America at
Never,
90 years
ever,
old.
90. I love this woman. I don't know if she's still out there. I imagine her like scaling Mount Everest. And all of her kids, she put all of her kids and grandchildren through college, and they got together. They gave her a book. She said, perhaps you've heard of this book. It's called 1,000 Places to See Before You Die. And she said I could pick any place
Well, she
I
had
wanted.
an oxygen mask on.
She said you can pick any. They told her you can pick any place in the world you want to go. We'll send you there. And she picked Machu Picchu because she said you have to get the difficult places out of the way first. And she said your knees have expiration dates. And I'll always remember her for those words. She was a real warrior. And at 90 years old, she had more energy and more intent and more desire and curiosity than a lot of people at 1/5 that age that I meet, and that's sad. Because I think if you really have that curiosity and you want to see the world, you make it happen.
Cool. And for people that have done like kind of like local domestic travel, what kind of like either tips or inspiration would you give them as far as really breaking outside of their comfort zone and doing those big trips, doing the internationals, like getting stamps on the passport?
Yeah, I think that a lot of it is fear.
Their own kind of nervousness is.
Yeah, well, people are hesitant, and they should be, because unless your parents drag you along
Patricia,
3, 5, and 7 years old, the more you don't travel, the more you don't travel. And ideally you find somebody who kind of stokes you along and forces you to get up and out and going. And if nobody does, then you really need to look to yourself and just make the plunge, just make the leap.
Do it.
Yeah, just do it, really.
Yeah.
You wake up and you're 90 years old and you're Edith from New Jersey without the kids encouraging her at that late point.
Before your knees
travel.
don't work, kids.
Yeah, before your knees wear out. Everything has an expiration date.
Okay, cool. So you've been all over the map. What's next on the plan?
Central Asia, Uzbekistan, the Silk Road countries. I've never been, so I'm really excited. Former Soviet bloc, and now open for tourism, but not seeing many Americans. It's far.
Nice. Okay. And where would be some places? What would be on the list of like hidden gems where people, there's stuff that's obvious, London, Paris, wherever worldwide.
I think, for example, because worldwide I need to talk to you for a few hours, but let's take Europe. So countries that are off the map for most Americans, not Europeans, but for most Americans, Romania, very cheap because it doesn't yet have the euro, and it's really old Europe. And the people are lovely, and they were part of the Soviet bloc, so now they're really encouraging tourism, but still very old school. Romania and
Croatia coast is on the list for me.
Yeah, Croatia's beautiful, and to the north of Croatia, Slovenia. Most people don't even know about Slovenia, and it's small. It's the size of New Jersey, so it's really easy to get around. And then south of Croatia, Montenegro. Teensy tiny, very small and beautiful.
That's off the coast of Spain?
No, it's part of what was former Yugoslavia.
Oh, okay.
So it's a neighbor of Croatia. So when you go to Croatia,
hit that up.
Yes.
Montenegro, huh?
It's just over the border.
Okay, cool, awesome. Well, Patricia Schultz, 1,000 Places to See Before You Die.
Thank you.
And then the U.S. and Canada version too. So here at the San Diego Travel Show.
Next
everybody.
year. See you next year, 2015.
Cool. Yeah. So
Thank you.
travel with us or get left behind.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.